It was just past 8 p.m. on November 24, 2009, when John Edward Jones, a skilled and passionate amateur caver of 26 years old and with a child on the way, entered the Nutty Putty Caves, south of Salt Lake City, Utah. Accompanying him was a large group of family and friends. After all, Thanksgiving was approaching, and the trip had been planned to be a brief adventure they could share before the holiday. However, what was meant to be fun turned into an unprecedented nightmare that would cost John Edward Jones his life. Nutty Putty: the beauty and risks of a subterranean labyrinth. The Nutty Putty Caves were first discovered in 1960 by Dale Green, a local speleologist. They were named for the soft brown clay that lined many of their passages, providing a unique and interesting texture. The cave system consisted of dozens of rooms connected by narrow, low-ceilinged corridors, forming a complex subterranean labyrinth. Although exploration required a lot of crawling and contortion, the caves were considered relatively safe for beginners, attracting thousands of visitors each year. Explorers could enjoy fascinating features such as the Big Slide, a room where the floor descended at a 45-degree angle, providing an exciting experience. There was also the labyrinth called the Maze, a confusing jumble of small chambers and tight corridors that were fun to explore. One of the most intriguing attractions was a hollow rock that reportedly rang like a bell when struck, adding a mysterious and enchanting element to the adventure. Despite the popularity of the Nutty Putty Caves and their apparent safety, previous incidents highlighted the potential dangers, reminding visitors that caving requires caution and respect for nature. Between 1999 and 2004, several people, including 2 Boy Scouts, became trapped in the narrow passages of the caves and had to be rescued by professional teams. These incidents revealed safety deficiencies and led to changes in the management of the caves. After these events, the caves were temporarily closed, and when reopened, a registration system was implemented. Visitor groups now had to book online, allowing management to know who was inside the caves and to prevent overcrowding. However, these measures were largely administrative and did not guarantee greater safety within the caves. The registration system helped monitor the presence of visitors, but the inherent dangers of the narrow passages and challenging conditions remained. Management could control the number of visitors, but it could not eliminate the natural risks associated with caving. True safety depended on the preparation, skill, and prudence of the explorers themselves. These administrative measures were a necessary response to previous incidents, but they served more to organize and control visitor flow than to mitigate the physical dangers of the caves. Thus, the tragedy of John Edward Jones in 2009 highlighted that despite management efforts, exploring caves like Nutty Putty was still an inherently risky activity that required respect and caution from adventurers. It was exactly in this context that John Edward Jones, his brother Josh, and their friends and family entered the Nutty Putty Caves on November 24, 2009. The 2 brothers had extensive caving experience, having participated in numerous subterranean adventures during their childhood throughout the state of Utah. However, this would be their first time visiting the Nutty Putty Caves, making this exploration an exciting debut for both of them at this location. The Invisible Trap. After nearly an hour of exploring the Nutty Putty Caves, John Edward Jones and his group were fascinated by the numerous discoveries they had made. At 9 p.m., John spotted a passage he believed to be the Birth Canal, a narrow and famous section within the caves known for its challenge and difficulty. With the confidence of an experienced explorer, he decided to take on the challenge and entered the crevice, moving slowly and with difficulty. However, John was not in the Birth Canal. Unknowingly, he had entered an unmapped tunnel that was much narrower and more dangerous. This tunnel, known to only a few local explorers, was a deadly trap. As John continued to advance, the passage became even narrower, forcing him into increasingly difficult positions. As he kept moving forward, gravity began to pull him down a steep incline. John, now upside down, realized too late that he was trapped in a space smaller than a front-loading washing machine. The inverted position, combined with the extreme confinement, made breathing difficult and increased pressure on his vital organs. When John realized he was hopelessly stuck, his brother Josh, who was nearby, desperately tried to help him. Josh initially attempted to pull him out, but only managed to move him a few inches, insufficient to free him. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Josh quickly exited the caves to seek help, while another friend stayed by John's side, trying to comfort him. The situation was critical. John was trapped upside down in a tunnel with barely enough space for any significant movement. Rescue teams quickly arrived at the scene, but faced enormous difficulties due to the extremely narrow and winding nature of the cave. The rescue operation was hindered by the impossibility of access, allowing only one person to get close to John at a time. While waiting for the rescue, John remained impressively calm, communicating with the rescuers and eventually speaking to his wife through a radio. However, John's physical condition worsened with each passing moment due to the prolonged inverted position, which caused severe circulatory and respiratory problems. The rescue effort continued for over 19 hours, with rescuers attempting everything to widen the passage and safely remove John. Unfortunately, the relentless conditions of the cave and the extremely limited space made these attempts nearly impossible. The tragic outcome. During one of the rescue attempts, a stone arch suddenly gave way, causing John to slip back into the narrow crevice. The rescuers, now exhausted and desperate, realized that the situation had become even more critical. After hours of intense efforts and the prolonged inverted position, John succumbed to the extreme conditions. At midnight on November 25th, he was sadly declared dead, marking the end of a desperate and heroic struggle for survival. Memorial and legacy. The tragedy of John Edward Jones left everyone deeply shaken and led to the decision to permanently seal the Nutty Putty Caves with a concrete plug, transforming them into his tomb. A plaque was installed at the entrance of the caves, honoring the memory of a young explorer who lost his life in an adventure that should have been safe. This plaque serves as a lasting memorial, reminding everyone of John's bravery and the inherent risks of cave exploration. Lessons and reflections. The story of John Edward Jones is a powerful reminder of the hidden dangers that can exist even in seemingly safe places. His tragedy not only shocked the community, but also highlighted the need for greater caution and preparation in exploration activities. John Edward Jones will be eternally remembered as a courageous explorer whose loss brought significant changes in the approach to cave exploration safety, influencing measures aimed at protecting future adventurers from similar fates. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. We appreciate your time and interest in our stories.